Hey everyone, welcome to the channel for another Escape from Tarkov video. In this one, I'm going to be taking a look at the AK-74 series of rifles and the attachments you can use to build them into effective weapons. AKs are everywhere in Tarkov, and if you play the game for any length of time, it's almost guaranteed you'll be walking around with an AK in your hands at some point. There are two main types of AK in Escape from Tarkov, the classic 7.62 AKM and the more modern 5.45 by 39 AK-74 and AK-100 series rifles, which is what I'll be covering in this video. Before I even get into the attachments, I'm going to take a second to quickly explain the difference between the 6 different variants of the AK-74 in Escape from Tarkov, because although they are essentially identical, there is some important differences that you should know about. The standard AK-74 is the most basic of the series. It has no additional mounts, and it doesn't work with the RPK buffer tube or with dovetail mounts. The AK-74N is just a standard AK-74 that has a dovetail mount on the receiver that lets you attach certain sights and rails. The AK-74 and AK-74N both have lightweight folding stocks, and some aftermarket stocks won't work on these rifles. The AK-74M is a modernized AK-74 that has a dovetail mount and a folding stock. These rifles don't work with non-folding AK stocks. The AK-105 is a short-barreled version of the AK-74M. It doesn't work with several handguards or non-folding AK stocks. I'll be sure to point out which versions of the AK-74 don't work with certain attachments as I go over them, but this should be a good starting point to understand the difference between each model. To begin with, I'll go over the pistol grips you can use with the AK-74 because it's one of the simpler choices. The MOE pistol grip is available at mechanic level 3 for 9,000 rubles and gives a plus 14 ergonomics boost. This is the best in-slot grip, and it really isn't much more expensive than the others, so it should be your main choice. The Zenit RK3 pistol grip is sold by Skier level 2 for 7,000 rubles and gives you plus 13 ergonomics. This is honestly a really good choice as well. It's a little bit cheaper than the MOE and is available earlier. The US Palm AK grip is sold by Peacekeeper level 3 for $64 and gives you plus 12 to ergonomics. It's also a pretty good choice and about the same price as the RK3. The TAPCO Saw AK grip is sold by Peacekeeper level 2 for $38 and gives you plus 10 to ergonomics. This is a really cheap grip that adds a huge ergonomics boost, so if you're looking for a pure budget build, the Saw grip is not a bad choice. Next up is the stock, which can kind of be a confusing choice because a lot of these stocks require an adapter or only fit on certain variants of the AK-74. The basic AK-74 stock is actually worth a mention because if you add the GP25 recoil pad sold by Proper level 2, it can give you up to 43% recoil reduction for about 3,500 rubles. Next up are the Zenit Classica stocks, which both require a PT lock adapter from Skier level 2 to add to your rifle. The PT3 stock is sold by Skier level 2 for 21,000 rubles and gives you a 45% recoil reduction along with plus 10 to ergonomics. The PT1 stock, also sold by Skier level 2 for 12,000 rubles, will give you a 44% recoil reduction and plus 8 to ergonomics. Either of these stocks are really good options on the AK-74M or AK-105, but they get outclassed by some stocks that AK-74 and 74N can equip instead. The RPK-16 buffer tube is sold by Mechanic level 3 for about 8,000 rubles and allows you to add stocks like the MOE Carbine series to your AK-74M or AK-105, but it doesn't work on the AK-74, AKS-74, or AK-74N. It lets you add a cool look to your AK, but it doesn't really offer an advantage to your stats. The Fab Defense UAS AK stock is sold by Skier level 3 for about 17,000 rubles and will give you a 46% recoil reduction along with 14 to ergonomics. The UAS stock gives one of the highest ergonomics boosts possible on an AK and pretty good recoil reduction, but it can't be used by the AK-74M, AK-105, or AKS-74. The ZHUKOV-S stock is sold by level 4 Peacekeeper for about $190 and gives you a 49% recoil reduction along with a plus 11 ergonomics boost. As far as numbers go, this is the best in slot options for AK rifles, but it can't be used by the 74M, AK-105, or AKS-74. The MEAK adapter is sold by Skier level 3 for about 5,000 rubles. It allows you to attach buffer tube stocks to the AK-74 and 74N rifles. Because this can be used with the advanced buffer tube, it can give you some good stats, but unless you really like the look of M4 stocks on your AK, I would stick to the ZHUKOV or UAS stocks on non-folding AKs. There's a ton of choices when it comes to handguards for the AK-74, and any upgrade over the standard piece is a good choice. While there is a lot of options, many have similar stats, so for the most part you can get away with using cheaper handguards or one that you like just for the appearance. The CAA RS-47 handguard is one of the first you can get a hold of, and it's sold by Peacekeeper Level 2 for about $110. It gives a -2% recoil reduction, 7 to ergonomics, and has 4 rails mounted to it from the start. The Zenit B10 handguard is the cheapest option available and is sold by Skier Level 2 for about 5,000 rubles. It gives a 1% recoil reduction, +3 to ergonomics, and can fit a foregrip and 1 tactical device. The B10M handguard and B19 rail mount is an upgraded version of the B10, which is sold by Skier Level 3 for 14,000 rubles. This handguard is meant to work with the B33 dust cover, which is sold by Skier Level 2 for another 14,000 rubles. Used together, they give a 2% recoil reduction and +16 to ergonomics, which is not bad, but the combined price is a little expensive. The MOE AK handguard is sold by Skier and Peacekeeper Level 3 for about 14,000 rubles. It gives a -2% recoil reduction and +10 to ergonomics. These handguards are pretty good for their price, and they can be found quite often in loot crates. The Trax 1 handguard is sold by Mechanic Level 3 for about 8,700 rubles, giving a 2% recoil reduction and +5 to ergonomics. If you buy the Strike Industries Bridge Guide from Mechanic Level 3 for 1,700 rubles and the Trax 2 from Mechanic Level 4 for 8,000 rubles, you can put it all together, and the combined pieces give a 3% recoil reduction and +9 to ergonomics, but you can't put both on an AK-105. The ZHUKOV-U handguard is sold by Skier Level 4 for about 21,000 rubles and gives a 1% recoil reduction and 14 to ergonomics. I think these handguards look awesome and they have great ergonomic stats, but personally I feel they need a bit more recoil reduction to be worth the cash. The next 4 handguards are what I would call the top tier for AK rifles, but unfortunately none of them can be used with the AK-105. The KREBS custom handguard is sold by Level 4 Peacekeeper for about $210 and gives a 3% recoil reduction along with +11 to ergonomics. This handguard requires the VDM CS gas tube, which is sold by Peacekeeper Level 3 for about $30. It has a good balance of stats, and personally I really like how it looks. The Troy handguard and gas block combo is sold by Level 4 Mechanic for 21,000 rubles and gives a 3% recoil reduction and +14 to ergonomics. This one is a great option for ergonomics focused builds, but keep in mind you'll have to take the gas block off of your rifle before installing. The HEXAGON AK handguard is sold by Level 4 Mechanic for about 32,000 rubles, giving a 3% recoil reduction and +14 to ergonomics. It has identical stats to the Troy handguard, but costs 10,000 rubles extra, so it's not a bad choice, just not really cost effective. The VLTOR CMRD handguard is sold by Level 4 Mechanic for 26,000 rubles, giving you a 5% recoil reduction along with +10 to ergonomics. This is the best in-slot piece for recoil reduction, and the fact it gives a great ergonomics boost as well makes this one well worth the price. Now we move on to the muzzle devices, which, like the pistol grips, is kind of a simple choice because there isn't a lot of options. The DTK-I muzzle brake is sold by Skier Level 2 for about 5,000 rubles and gives you a 6% recoil reduction. This is the first compensator you can get, and it actually gives a pretty great upgrade for the low price point. The PWS CQB-74 compensator is sold by Skier Level 3 for about 9,000 rubles and is most definitely the best in slot muzzle attachment if you're going for low recoil. It gives an 11% recoil reduction, which is pretty huge, so if you're running unsuppressed, I definitely recommend grabbing one of these. The PBS-4 suppressor is sold by Proper Level 3 for about 36,000 rubles. It gives a 5% recoil reduction and a -7 ergonomics penalty. This is the best suppressor for recoil reduction, but it has a pretty high ergo penalty and gives you -2 accuracy. The TGP-A suppressor is sold by Proper Level 3 for about 46,000 rubles. It gives a 1% recoil reduction and -5 to ergonomics, along with a 1% accuracy penalty. The HEXAGON AK-74 suppressor is sold by Skier Level 2 for about 46,000 rubles, and it gives a 1% recoil reduction, -7 to ergonomics, and a 1% accuracy penalty. Before I get into talking about a few full build setups, I want to mention a few of the most useful sight mounts available for the AK rifles, as well as the Zenit charging handle that you can use to get extra ergonomics. The B13 rail platform is sold by Skier Level 2 for about 8,000 rubles and attaches onto a dovetail mount to give you a top rail for scopes. This is a great way to add basically any scope to an AK with a dovetail mount. The TT-10,000 rail mount is sold by Skier Level 2 for about 9,000 rubles and attaches to most AK dust covers covers to give you a top rail for mounting scopes. The TT-01 rear sight adapter is sold by Proper Level 2 for about 3,000 rubles and will let you put most reflex or red dot sights onto an AK, but it doesn't work with full-size scopes. Finally, the AXION COBRA mount is sold by Mechanic Level 1 for about 6,000 rubles and attaches to a dovetail mount to give you a scope and tactical device slot all in one. I personally think this is a great mount for low levels, as you can add both a sight and a flashlight or laser without needing to buy a handguard. Another small thing you can add to your rifle to get +1 to ergonomics is the Zenit RP1 charging handle, which is sold by Skier Level 2 for just a couple thousand rubles and will add 1 ergonomics to your total build. It's not a lot, but it can help. To end the video, I want to give a few example builds of the AK-74. To start with, I'm going to build one with the highest recoil reduction possible using some pretty high level attachments. Start with an AK-74N and buy the following: an MOE pistol grip, ZHUKOV-S stock, VLTOR CMRD handguard, and the PWS CQB compensator. For your foregrip, pick up either the RK2 vertical grip or RK1 slanted grip. This setup is expensive and requires high trader levels, but it gets you the lowest possible recoil on an AK-74. The next build I want to talk about is a mid-range all-purpose build that can be put together almost completely from reasonably priced items found on level 2 or 3 traders. Start with an AK-74N or 74M and put on the RK3 pistol grip, PT1 Classica stock, CAA RS47 handguard, and PBS4 suppressor. Add a PSO dovetail scope, MPR45 backup mount with your preferred reflex sight, and an RK1 grip from level 2 skier to finish it off. You have an effective suppressed rifle that you can use at most ranges and doesn't cost a fortune. The final build I want to show is a budget setup that you can put together for dirt cheap but still gives you a sight, foregrip, and manageable recoil. Start with an AK-74M or AK-74N and add the GP25 recoil pad, B10 handguard, and PWS CQB compensator. Get the COBRA EKP18 reflex sight and the Magpul RVG foregrip, and the build is complete. You can also add one of the upgraded pistol grips if you want some extra ergonomics, but it isn't needed. This setup requires minimal investment, but it still reduces the recoil pretty significantly. Well, that's about all I have to say about setting up the AK-74 in Escape from Tarkov. The AK is a trusty weapon to take out on raids, and as I said before, anyone who plays Tarkov is going to find themselves using one at some point. They may not be as modular as the M4 or HK416, but there's still a lot of options when it comes to customizing a rifle to your preference. I hope you found this video helpful and that it gives you something to think about when you get around to building your next AK-74. As always, feel free to leave any comments, corrections, or suggestions down below, and hit that subscribe button if you want to stay in the loop for future videos. I stream at twitch.tv/JDogTheWise fairly regularly, and it'd be great to see some more people drop by, so I'll leave a link for that down in the description. Thanks again for dropping by the channel, and until next time, stay safe in Tarkov City.